Now we will continue with the World Wide Web. In the previous session we have studied about what is URL, what is World Wide Web, how internet is related to World Wide Web. Now today we will just see how does a World Wide Web is working. Now as I told you that web is a two-tiered architecture. Two-tiered architecture means there is a transfer of information between two things. A web browser displays information contents and a web server that transfers information to the client. You can think of it as the browser is the request maker and web server serves the request. As it is very much clear from the diagram that web browser requests from the web page through a network, it goes to the server with the web page or acknowledgement if the page is not found comes to the browser again. So it is a request response system, we can say. So World Wide Web is a two-way architecture. Web browser sends request for a web page to the web server via the network. Over the network, now web server in response acknowledges or send the page to the browser. Now next thing is DNS. It is also very important. Now the DNS is domain name system. Now the domain name system translates human readable domain to the machine readable domain. It will translate a human readable domain to the machine readable IP address, for example in the form of this 4 bytes. Now DNS, domain name system or server, translate request for names into IP addresses. It is same as request response system. So what is domain name system? Domain name systems translate human readable form like I have written the rishikul.edu.in to the machine readable form for IP. Now DNS server translates requests for names into IP addresses. Now a domain name is our website name. For example, that example I have taken python.mykvs.in or the rishikul.edu.in. In is primary domain, mykvs is a subdomain, and Python is subdomain of KVS. Right? So the extension which we use is a primary domain, then the next name is the subdomain, and again is a subdomain. Now it is not necessary that subdomain exists within this thing. Now there are two things, generic domain name or country specific domain name. Now generic you can just have the extensions and you can identify generic domain name as .com, .edu, .com is for commercial, .edu is for education, .gov is for government, .mil, .net for network, .org for organization, etc. Now country specific, .in for India specifically, US for United States, AU for Australia, UK for United Kingdom. Now URL. Now uniform resource locator is defined as the global address for documents and the other resources on the World Wide Web. Whomsoever is going to search for a particular World Wide Web is a common name. The URL is an address that sends user to specific resource online. Online means over the internet, such as a web page, video or other document or resources. Now we have studied that there are three main parts in URL. Number one is your protocol, which is HTTP, then is your domain name, then is your path or file name. Right? Now a question arises, is an IP address same as URL or web address? Is an IP address same as URL or web address? No, an IP address is unique number. देखिए अब IP address क्या होता है? That is a unique number provided to you by the ISP on your network for each device. Now on the World Wide Web, a domain name is assigned an IP, and when entered, जैसे ही कोई वर्ल्ड वाइड वेब एंटर होगा उसको एक आईपी अलॉट कर दिया जाएगा. नाउ डीएनएस डोमेन नेम सिस्टम translates it into a human readable form that serves as a request response system to the web server. A domain name is used instead of an IP address because it is easier for human to remember the domain name rather than the IP address. IP address like numbers, instead they will remember the names. Now email, electronic mail. Now e means electronic mail. Now short for electronic mail is email, or email is information stored on your computer that is exchanged between two personals or two users over telecommunication. Email is a very good method of transacting information over the network, as we can store up to a long time. It is fast, it is efficient. We can communicate with a person at any time, sitting at any place, at any location. Just the thing is that internet is accessible. We can receive and send files and other information. We can receive multimedia messages, videos, audios, anything that we can send through mail. And we can store them for a long time. So email, short for electronic mail, is information stored on a computer that is exchanged between two users over telecommunication or any network. It is a fast and efficient way to communicate with friends or colleagues. We can communicate with one person at a time or thousands at a time. We can send as many email as we want. Now, features of email: automatic and default reply to messages. We can set automatic reply to messages like I am out, I will check your messages later on. You can just reply when you want, or you can have just default reply, okay, I have received the information, I will call you back. Auto forward and redirection of messages. Yes, we can auto forward and redirect messages. Facility to send copies of a message to many people. We can send a single message to thousands of people at a time. Automatic filling and retrieval of messages by time, by date. We can search and we can just access the messages anytime. Addresses can be stored in an address book and retrieved instantly. We can store addresses, email addresses of anybody within them and can access them at any time. Notification if a message cannot be delivered. Now, basic functions of email are: first, sending and receiving of mail messages, whether they are any kind of messages. Save your messages in a file. Print mail messages. Reply or forwarding of mail messages. Attach a file to the mail message. Now, attaching a file means you can attach any video, you can attach any document, you can attach anything you want. Now, email address look like this: someone@mail server. Means there is the mail address is three parts: a username, @sign, and the server's address. For example, if I will write info@rishikul.edu.in, so info is the username, is my sign, and that is my server's address. Now, what do you mean by an email client? An email client is a computer program that manages a user's email. For example, you can say your app in Gmail, or your Outlook is the best example of it. Now, popular email clients include Microsoft Outlook, Pegasus, Mozilla's Thunderbird, and Apple's INC's Mail, which by default have an access. Now, Outlook is very popular among the different companies using the email, because it can collaborate with many mail IDs and can serve. Now, web-based mail. Now, it is a kind of email service intended to primarily accessed via web browser. Very popular are Gmail, Yahoo, Hotmail, Rediffmail, whatever you can count, all are web-based emails. Means we need a web browser to run them. Now, webmail is popular as it allows user to send or receive mail from anywhere. Now, this email clients can be used only on our devices. Now, how email works? This is an important question. Now, electronic mail is a facility that allows user to transmit messages across the internet in a fast and a very secure manner. Now, how it is done, let us understand with the help of an example or a diagram. Where is the diagram? Okay. This. Sender's email client. This is our machine. Like I am sender, I am sending something. SMTP, simple mail transfer protocol, the protocol which is used to send emails over the internet. Then it is a ISP server, means service provider server. Then again SMTP protocol, it is connected to internet. Now it is sender's server, and it is now again SMTP protocol receives the message. Simple mail transfer protocol receives the message, gives it to the ISP on the server end and to the recipient. Now this process can be termed as vice versa. All over this is same. Now POP, post office protocol, is used when this server is taken. Also there, this is POP3, not SMTP. This is POP3, post office protocol. So email created using email client, on press button, it is delivered to sender's mail address. SMTP which further transmit the same through the internet to the recipient's mail server. Now SMTP is the protocol which is responsible for transmitting the same message transmitted by the sender to the recipient server. Whenever recipient's email client program's inbox is opened, the email is delivered through POP, Post Office Protocol version 3, which user will read in email client program. Now the next thing is SMTP and POP3. Now what is SMTP? Most of the systems use SMTP as a method to transfer their messages or mails from one place to another. SMTP stands for Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. It stands for Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. Now SMTP is a push protocol and is used to send the mail to the email server of the recipient side. It is usually used with one or two other protocols such as IMAP, Instant Messaging and Accessing Protocol, or POP3, such as named as Post Office Protocol version 3, that let the user save messages in a server mailbox and download them periodically or whenever required. An alternate to the SMTP that is used in Europe is X400. Many mail servers now download extended SMTP, which allows multimedia files to be delivered. Now the SMTP model is of two types, end-to-end and store and forward method. The end-to-end model is used for communication between different organizations, where the store and the forward, whereas the store and forward method is within an organization. Now end-to-end can be communicated with different organizations, it is open, and whereas the forward and store method is used within an organization. Now next we have termed is POP3. Now Post Office Protocol 3 is a standard mail protocol used to receive emails from a remote server. Now Post Office Protocol is a standard mail protocol used to receive emails from a remote server to a local email client. Now POP3 allows us to download email messages on our local computer and read them even when we are offline. It means POP is used to download the messages. Okay, Post Office Protocol is used to download the messages. Now note that when we use POP3 to connect to our email account, messages are downloaded locally on your machine and removed from the email server. But this is not true today, as we have saved all over. This means that if we access our account from multiple locations, that may not be the best option for us. On the other hand, if we use POP3, our messages will be stored on the local computer, which reduces the space of email account. Right? Now two things we have studied. Again, email works. Email works with the help of two things: SMTP protocol and the POP3 protocol. So we have to use the both. Now SMTP, a simple mail transfer protocol. There are two types of simple. Right now we are using extended simple mail transfer protocol. Now in today's scenario, we are using two types, end-to-end and store and forward. End-to-end is used within different organizations at different places, whereas the store and forward method is used within an organization. POP3. Now Post Office Protocol 3 is a standard mail protocol used to receive emails from a remote server to a local email client. Now the disadvantage of POP is that it will remove from the email server and just download it locally for you. So friends, these are the things which we have to study. Now in the next session, we are going to throw light on Internet and World Wide Web. Till then, you have to study, you have to get through this, and thank you for the day.